have one council member and a city manager on the way, but some of this is just some formality things. So welcome. This is Wednesday, June 16th. It is 6:03, and we're calling this meeting to order. And Mr. City Attorney, do we have anything to report out of closed session, sir?
No, Mayor, there's no reportable action tonight.
Thank you. And I'm going to read the following. The City Council is inviting the public back to attend meetings in person with limited seating. The public is also invited to provide in-person public comments. For information on how to reserve a seat for future meetings or how to sign up for in-person public comments, please visit the city's website at cityofmenifee.us/agendas. For anyone who's watching this meeting at home, if you'd like to provide public comments, you must register to speak virtually by emailing public comments at cityofmenifee.us prior to the item being heard. Please be sure to identify which items you'd like to speak on, and you'll receive instructions on how to participate in the meeting. With that being said, Madam Clerk, would you go ahead and please call roll?
Yes, Your Honor. Councilmember Carwin,
Here.
Councilmember Leesmeyer,
I know he's
trailing behind. Okay.
coming.
Mayor Pro Tem Sobek,
Here.
Councilmember Dynas,
Here.
and Mayor Zimmerman.
And I'm here. So it is my pleasure to welcome Pastor Rocky Stone. We're on item 3, words of inspiration. If he would hobble over to the podium. Unfortunately, he was involved in an accident a few months back, and so we're just happy and pleased to see that he's moving around because we're all pretty concerned, but we're just thankful that you were able to come tonight and share some words of inspiration, Rocky, so thanks for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It is good to be out and about, even if I am hobbling. I do want to pray for this meeting today, but first I just want to say, as a pastor in this community and as a resident. Is that a little better? Hey, there we go. I just want to say, as a pastor in this community, as a resident here in the city, I've just been so impressed with our city government. I'm a transplant. I came here from Chicago. I don't know if you know anything about Chicago politics. They're not what we have here. And I'm very thankful to be a part of this community. So with that, I'd love to pray for our time together. Father God, thank you that you've just allowed us to be together. Lord, in the last 15, 16 months, we didn't know if this was going to be possible. God, thank you that you've given us a place to meet. God, thank you for our city leaders. Thank you for the city of Menifee. God, thank you for life. Thank you for family and community, friends, God, and for a lot of good health going around. Lord, in your word, you say that we should honor and obey our civic leaders because you have established them. And God, because of that, I pray for our mayor, for our city council members, for our city leaders, God, for this assembly, for everyone that is here today. God, thank you for people that are passionate about our community, that are passionate about what is going on here. And God, I pray that you would bless them. God, that you would bless them, Lord, with wisdom as they make tough decisions. God, that you would bless them with unity, even in disagreement. God, that you would bless them with a strong desire for justice and righteousness. God, that you would bless them in their families, in their community, in their homes. God, and as they carry out the hard work of leading this city. God, we pray that you would continue to do great things in Menifee. And God, that this assembly would be a blessing to our town. We say all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Again, thanks for being here. Please send the message to your congregation at Sandals Church how much we appreciate them. And
I will. Thank you.
I know they're saying prayers for our city government, so thank you.
Absolutely.
For that. All right. All right. With that, we are now on the item 4, Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm just going to call upon somebody. I see Betty Cadmus is here. Maybe Betty, the PIO for the school district, if you wouldn't mind leading us tonight.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Betty. Okay, we're now on item 5. This is 5.1, presentations, and our first presentation is a community services update, and I'd like to call upon Mr. Jonathan Nix, who is our Director of Community Services.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. If IT, we can get the PowerPoint up. And yes, we're just providing an update on all of our community services activities that we're really excited about, especially this week, to offer a lot of programs back to the community. So just this week, we opened up a lot of recreation programs, including our summer camps. We have a great partnership with Santa Rosa Academy. We have an all-day camp going on there, which started Monday, and we're going to continue that throughout the summer. And we have some partial day camps that we're offering at different locations at some of the parks, focusing on sports and different things. All those camps are actually all full, and we actually have some waiting lists. So we're hoping to continue to offer those things. We do have some field trips that are available that still have some spaces. Those are the prices there. If anyone in the community is interested in signing up their kids for some of these field trips, please go to our city website, and all the registration information is there available. We're really glad we're able to offer all these activities for the kids as they transition out of school and are on summer break.
Yep.
Oh, too fast. Also, we have a lot of outdoor sports programs. We have the skate park, and we're adjusting to some summer hours to avoid those hot afternoons. So starting in the next few days, we're going to have an AM session in the morning from 8:30 to 12:30, and then we're going to have an afternoon, a PM session to try to avoid that hot part of the day, the noon to 5. So we'll have that available. And we have some designated days for folks that are on bikes and BMX. So that's Wednesdays all day, Fridays in the afternoon, and Saturdays in the morning. And then we have some dedicated time for rollerbladers and roller skaters. It was on Sunday morning. And then we're still offering a lot of outdoor classes that we've been offering for several months. Taekwondo, martial arts, ballet flamenco, basketball camps, tennis. So we have a lot of instructors offering those programs as well, and those are still available to the community if they would like to sign up. And then we're continuing to provide programs at the Senior Center. We've recently expanded. We're still doing all the food distribution. We've hit over 100,000 meals distributed since March. So that's fantastic. Very good job. Good partnerships that we have available there. And then also in person at the Senior Center, we have our Tai Chi classes, Heart and Soul Dance, some craft classes. So any older adults there that are looking for some activities to do, please come on down to the Senior Center or give us a call, and we can give you the schedule of those things we have available. Also, I'm very pleased to announce that we're going to start doing our in-person events again, starting this Friday. We have a Menifee Moonlight Market. It's 80s night, so we have 80s Beyond. It's an 80s cover band, and right after the concert, we're going to be showing Beetlejuice. So we had an online contest. I don't know if everyone saw that, to pick your favorite 80s movie, and Beetlejuice won. I was really hoping for the Goonies, but Beetlejuice won. And then, so we're going to continue that. So the next Moonlight Market will be a 90s night, so people get to choose the 90s movie. Then we'll do a 2000s one. So we have a full slate of events. We actually have 11 events starting June 18th. There will be something to do pretty much every single weekend in Menifee throughout the summer. So definitely the movies in the park, Moonlight Markets, the campfire program provided by our park rangers. And then we actually have a unique overnight camp out that we're doing at Silver Star Park on July 9th. So all that information definitely available on our social media, website. If anyone's interested in all that, please give us a call or visit the website or social media.
John, you'd mentioned the first one's on June 18th, but I think tomorrow's campfire program, right?
No, campfire program is, oh, you're right. I'm sorry, Mayor, June 17th. Yes.
So that's at Spirit Park?
Yeah, that's at Spirit Park.
And is our rangers?
Yes,
posted?
our park rangers will be doing that. So yeah,
Okay.
we have that event tomorrow and then the Moonlight Market on Friday. Thank
Awesome.
you for that
Thank you.
clarification. Also, we're continuing with Independence Day. We have the parking slots available at MSJC. It's going to be also live broadcast on 103.3 starting at 7 o'clock. We're going to have some food vendors there, kind of drive-in style there. And just added, we just heard from our partners at Valleywide just at the end of last week that we'll be able to use Wheatfield Park. So just hearing that within a week, we quickly created a fun zone there. We're going to have some inflatables over there for a very nominal fee for the kids to do some activities. And we're adding some food and craft vendors over there. So
Excellent.
we're trying to do as much as we can with the amount of time we have, and trying to make it a good experience for everybody.
That's good news.
Yeah, so that information also on the website. We are asking for folks, if you're going to drive into MSJC, please pre-register. And the only reason for that is because we only have a limited amount of parking spots where you can view the fireworks. Also, just a quick update for the community. We've been doing a lot of projects adding a lot more amenities. Recently, we've had some ribbon cuttings at Nova Park where we added some play equipment and some nice trail equipment there. We've been doing some light enhancements where we're adding walkway lights to increase the usage of the park, let people walk around in the evenings. At Centennial Park, which is one of our newer parks off of Holland Road, we're finishing up adding the sports field lights there, which is a great amenity to have. It'll extend the use of those sports fields in the evenings, especially in the fall and winter when it gets darker sooner. So we're finishing that up. And we have the Kaye Thomas Play Trail, which is right down the street off of Newport. And we're also adding shade sails at many of the playgrounds because as it gets hotter, we want to make sure we have that shade available for the kids to go out there a little bit longer.
Jonathan, the Centennial Park lighting, is that finished?
Almost. We're doing some, also just to let the community know, we're going to be doing some testing on that next couple of weeks, making sure that we have the lights set at the right spot. We're also planning to do a ribbon cutting for that because we never got to do a grand opening for that park right when we received it. So we'll be doing that and also in celebration of this new project. So
Awesome.
definitely let all of you guys know.
Great, thanks.
So Lazy Creek, we're still under construction, making some pretty good progress over there. Here's some of the pictures. This was the old patio behind the original building. Demoed all that out already. This was a lot of the grading for the new building that we're adding on the site. Here they're adding a lot of the cinder block. That's going to be where the restroom buildings will be locating as part of the new building. And this is some of the framing and the gutting that was done on the old building as we're doing that renovation.
Can I bug you again?
Yes,
Sorry
sir.
to keep interrupting.
No, it's fine.
At Lazy Creek Park, I see that first picture you showed, and when I moved here in the 80s, if I remember right, there was a swimming pool there. Did you find steel when you were digging?
We had to make some adjustments once we found that swimming pool under there, but we were able to demo out properly and recover it. So
Okay,
yeah,
I was curious.
yeah.
Question.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, I drove by there too, to take a look at everything. Is everything, everything's still on target? It's all budgets on target, no change orders, nothing crazy going on?
A few things. We actually had one positive thing. We realized that some of our sewer connections were a little bit better than we thought, so that was a kind of a deductive change order. A few things here and there, but we're still on budget, still on schedule to finish by the end of the calendar year.
Great.
Yeah. So just a few more pictures for the community. So that's some of the framing. This is the new building. And just for everyone's knowledge, we have the existing 1,800 square foot building that we're fully renovating. Then we're adding another 2,400 square foot building. So more than doubling the size, which will allow us to provide more activities and programs for all the youth that attend Lazy Creek. And so that's another picture of the old building being renovated. There's another one. So I'll have better pictures next month. And that's it for my update. We're just really excited to be offering all these activities this summer and all these events, and available for any questions from the council.
Any questions, folks? It looks like there's a couple. Let's take Councilman Carwin first.
Thank you. I had an opportunity, now that we're going to be firing up Central Park, I had an opportunity to go out there and take a look, and there was I noticed some issues with the railings. It's apparently a very, very popular skateboarder activity to grind on those railings.
Yeah.
And is there anything we can do about that?
Yeah, our maintenance team's looking into that, maybe adding some skate stops on top of the railings to hopefully prevent that in the future.
Yeah, because I noticed the paint is kind of
Yeah.
scraped away. We're going to be able to get, no chance we're going to be able to get that freshened up before the first movie out there.
Oh, we'll try.
All right, thanks.
And Mayor Pro Tem Sobek.
Thank you. I just would like some clarification, and, I do have a question. So the senior lunch program, is that happening yet indoors?
Not yet. The providers of the food, which is the County Office on Aging and then also the Family Service Association, they're the ones that are providing it still in the frozen and the 5-pack where people can take it home. So we're waiting on them to adjust their policy so we can start serving it indoors. So we're hoping by the fall we can make that adjustment.
Okay, and then, I was a little bit confused on the Independence Day. So we are renting spots at MSJC, but you're also now going to open up Wheatfield Park. So are residents going to be able to go and watch the fireworks at Wheatfield Park
Yes.
in person?
Yes, so we'll have both spots available. MSJC was very gracious to let us secure that spot very early, and then, of course, we heard from Valleywide a little bit later,
So-
but we're still,
So do we need to use the MSJC and just you're gonna do both?
There's actually some field renovation going on at Reedfield Park
Okay.
right now, so the reseeding one field, which will be closed, so it's good that we have both spots available for folks.
So if someone wants to be a vendor, they have an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I believe we've already secured all of our vendors. We might have a couple more spots available, but please definitely send them our way.
Okay, because I did get a phone call from LA Fitness.
Okay.
So I think I forwarded that to you. Or no, I didn't. I told them contact community services.
That's fine. We'll
So,
contact them.
going back on the website, on the activities, the senior program, so is it available on the city website or where at on the city website if people want to sign up?
Yeah, for senior activities, we have it updated on the city website under the senior center tab.
So they have to go to the senior center tab, not Case Ceniceros, not community services?
Yeah, it's there, or I know a lot of seniors have issues navigating the web. They can just give us a call, and we'll
Okay.
give them the schedule.
All right, great, thank you, and thank you for all the work and for the update. It was nice to see what's going on at Lazy Creek and how
Yeah.
that's moving forward, so thank you, John.
You're very welcome.
I have a question from Councilman Leesmeyer. Comment?
This is great. There's a lot of great information. I'm very happy to see all the programs coming back to life. People are itching to get back out in public and, have fun.
Yeah.
Breathe. I did have a couple questions, not particularly related to your presentation. I don't know if we've now split back to having Public Works handle roads and things like that, but since you were handling it before, I did have some questions that we were talking about in the past. If the IT can put up the slides I had. This was in the world of community services. So briefly, the question is about right-of-way maintenance.
Yeah.
Here at Audie Murphy Ranch, missing a lot of plants in the right-of-way. Street maintenance, street sweepers going around trash. That trail of water is where he drove around the trash. Fallen trees. That particular dead tree has been in the median on Newport Road for 2 years. And there's a lot of maintenance issues that I think, so here, this right here, if you could hold that, this right here is actually a resident doing work in the public right of way, cleaning up the street. So kudos to them, but I'm asking the question, of the right of way contracts, do we need to revisit our right of way contracts to appropriate more money and more staffing to those contracts in order to do a better job for our city?
Well, with the last budget, we actually did appropriate, or the city council did appropriate more staff, so we have 2 more staff coming on board to help with the right-of-way maintenance. As far as the trees, we actually just ordered 260 trees. They're actually sitting right outside my office in the garden. The guys were delivering it this week.
Okay.
So we are going to be concentrating on that, on a lot of the dead tree removal, replanting trees, replanting a lot of the vegetation that has gone bad, and then also having more staff available to handle issues like this.
So this is an ongoing concern for me is the beautification of our city and the way our city looks when people drive through, is just making sure that our right-of-ways and our streets are clean, our weeds are out of the sidewalks, all that sort of stuff. So I guess maybe between the two, I think, Nick's probably gonna take over the public right-of-way stuff. That'd just be kind of an ongoing concern.
Absolutely. Councilmember Leesmeyer will look at these photos, and then we'll follow up if we need any location information from you.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Great job with all the other programs though.
Thank you.
Councilman Carwin?
Thank you. One thing I was reminded of, I was flipping back through the slides with the COVID restrictions. I don't know how they're changing through the city, but with the temperature the way it is, are we still having cool zones for the seniors? I know people used to be able to go to Case Ceniceros Center indoors when the heat blows out their AC. Do we have anything like that going?
Absolutely, Councilman Carwin. I apologize. I should include that in the slides. We did open up our cool center this week, so anytime it's over 97 degrees, the Case Cenicero is open from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., noon to 5 p.m. during the hottest part of the day. Any of those seniors that don't have air conditioning or just need somewhere to cool off, they can come on down to KC Center.
And please, everybody tell everyone you know, because when it gets to 113 degrees out there, that's going, and we're going to make sure that thing stays cool all summer. So,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Jonathan, I see no, whoops, this just in. Councilman.
Real quick on the Independence Day celebration, we're going to have, it's great news we're getting back to what the the residents really enjoyed what our 4th of July celebration was. But so you're going to have some reserved parking for fireworks. Will there be some like just general parking for those who want to go into Wheatfield and enjoy the vendors and things? I mean, we're not reserving the entire parking lot at MSJC, are we?
So we're reserving, to your point, Councilmember Dynas, we are reserving spots that are the best viewing spots for the fireworks, so those will probably go quickly. The rest of the MSJC parking lot is available if folks wanted to walk over to Wheatfield
Okay,
Park
good.
and
I just want
set
to
up
make
over
sure I
there.
understood that correctly,
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
to point people to. Thank you.
Appreciate the clarification.
One thing I noticed last year is after the event, we were one of the only cities to do it during the pandemic, but there was a lot of kind of leftover fast food bags and trash and stuff along the sides of the roads and in various parking lots and whatnot. So I think it'd be helpful if we can just remind some of the residents that, pack it in, pack it out kind of a thing. So
Absolutely.
anyway, Jonathan, thanks for the presentation. I appreciate
welcome.
it.
And we did have a request for another brass monkey finish, by the way.
That's right. That was
Noted.
That was the closing song. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. All right. Next up, 5.2. This is Information Technology Work Plan, and we have our director, Ron Puccinelli, who's going to provide our update.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for your attention. I'd like to share some of our work plan for this coming year with you, as well as touch on some of the security items we mentioned last time. And I'm going to try my new clicker and see if it behaves itself. So as you know, Menifee is a rapidly growing, rapidly changing city. We're adding more services, both in person, online. We're leveraging technology to catch up with cities who've been in existence for many more years than we have, and that's a good thing. However, that does create some challenges. We have new types of information. Some of it's really highly valuable for people who'd like to do bad things with that kind of information. And all of this results in an expanded risk exposure. As if you can imagine a balloon, as you put more air into it, more data, more people, more systems, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Eventually, you have to do something with that. So what do I mean by risk exposure? This is what I mean for us right now, and I'll talk about this particular slide more in just a moment. We have been depending on vendors, a very small number of vendors, to carry us so far, and vendors work really well. They work great to get us going. They've gotten us to where we are. They've carried us this far. They're very well focused. They have expertise, and within that sphere of expertise, they work extremely well. However, because we are government, we do have types of data that other people don't have, other companies don't have, and that does put some restrictions on how we can use vendors. Sometimes we're just not able to use vendors to deal with some of that. And cloud, while it does make things easier, make things more accessible, it does add more balloons that we have to protect in our environment. So we've kind of reached this tipping point now as a city, as we're growing, to where we need multiple partners to handle everything that we need to deal with. So case in point, we have been relying on a single vendor, and please don't get too distracted with the eye chart. The point here is everything we have been doing, we're going to continue doing, and we're adding the things on the far right. We have been spending approximately $500,000 a year with this vendor to provide these services, our Microsoft licensing, our backups, our security services, that kind of thing. Moving forward, we're going to be spending just a little bit more because our exposure has changed. We've grown. The data types we have to protect have grown. We're spending now roughly $570,000 a year. For that $70,000, we get to fix the red boxes, and we get to pick up the things on the far right. And I just would like to mention those real quickly. These are things we've not been able to do before, like provide awareness training for all of the employees in the city, how they can keep themselves and the city safe while they're at work, as well as keeping themselves safe while they're at home. We're doing audits now that we have not been able to do before. I'd also like to just call out the three light yellow boxes there. Those are things that are on your agenda tonight. This is not new stuff. We're simply changing the way we're delivering these kinds of services. So at the end of the day, we've covered all of this, and we are maturing ourselves and our city to deal with this. So why do we need to worry about that? And this is the chart I was mentioning I would talk about just a little bit before. We've never been able to see this kind of information before about 3 weeks ago. This has been happening essentially since we started and formed as an agency. What this is showing you is that for one of our 6 locations, these are the attacks that are hitting us in the last 30 days. This is just the top 100. This is not everything. So you can see, we don't have to worry about just ourselves, just our neighbors, just our state. We have to worry about things coming from literally anywhere in the world. To drill down on that just a little bit more, this is the same 30-day period for this same one location. I apologize, the numbers just get a little bit small there just because they're so large. That's 44,000 unique attacks in the last 30 days. If I did my math correctly, that's 1 every 3 seconds. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. A little bit of context, thinking about these balloons again. I have to get lucky to protect the city 644,000 times a month. The bad guys have to get lucky 1 time in 3 seconds. Just for a little bit of context. I'm not trying to scare anybody with this. This is happening to everybody. We're not unique in any way, shape, or form. This is just the nature of having services in a digital format anymore. And it's not just people outside trying to attack us. We're using machines, we're going out, we're getting information from vendors, we're getting services from various places. And this is the week of May 16 through 22. The top left graph is our machines, city's machines, going out and asking for information. Now, just like people are trying to attack us, people are also trying to attack the places we go, and they're trying to set up decoy sites. They essentially say, come here, don't go there, and they give us bad information. They try to damage our machines. That's what the graph on the top right-hand side is showing you. Each day that week, that's the number of bad domains, bad places that information we're getting from. We were blocked, we were protected from getting to those places. So what does that look like? The green bar on the bottom left, in the middle there, 442 times we were protected from getting malware loaded onto city computers. 115 times we were prevented from phishing, somebody dangling some bait in front of one of our staff, trying to get their login credentials, trying to get some of that information. So it's not just internal, it's not just external, it's everything. So this is by way of saying one of the major initiatives for IT for this next year is to continue to build on a culture of cyber safety within the city. And it's critical to realize that people are both our first and our last line of defense. I can put in all the tools, you can give me $10 million to do whatever. All it takes is that one person to click on that one thing, and it was all for nothing. You might remember the East Coast Pipeline a few weeks ago, shut down, because one person clicked on one thing. Case in point, yesterday, if you use TurboTax, be careful. TurboTax was hacked. Their records were released. This morning, CVS Health, over 1 billion records, people's health information, now compromised and out there. It's everywhere. This is just what we have to deal with. So we're working to improve ourselves, to provide the resources for our employees so that they know how to protect both themselves and us. And as we move forward and implement new systems, we're going to be baking in how we protect ourselves, how we build in safety so we're not trying to add it on at the end when it's just like building a building. You put the wiring in before you put the sheetrock on because it's a lot easier. It's easier if we build the safety and security in up front. And that's become super critical in our cloud services. Again, we have lots more balloons to protect. The bottom line for all of this is, just like we all have car insurance, you hope you never need it, but odds are something's gonna happen at some point in time. Same thing in security. Something bad's gonna happen. We can't prevent everything. It's about managing that risk. And when it does happen, we need to be prepared and our responses need to be ready to go. So we've been working with risk management. We'll be increasing our cybersecurity insurance, for example, in the upcoming year as a way to help offset some of the risk. But that's not the only thing we're doing. It's not all doom and gloom. It's not all fear. One of the major things I'm working on right now is fixing the AV systems in this room and laying the foundations for Menifee TV, our PEG channel that council would like to move forward with. We've completed a very thorough assessment of the system. We found some things we expected to find. We found some things we didn't expect to find. We've now got a 4-stage plan ready to go to remediate and fix the issue so that council and the public can have confidence that the system is going to work, and we're going to have broadcast-ready, broadcast-quality systems for them to participate in. You've also asked me to do an IT assessment. I will be working on that this year, as well as working on a strategic plan. We're going to continue delivering on our GIS strategic plan, and the objective here is to make sure that for all of our front-facing services like planning, permitting, those kinds of things, GIS informs and becomes just a part of the way we deliver services. Because once you can see how things relate spatially, you can look at zones, you can look at parcels, you can see it all together, and we're bringing it all together so that the public can see all of that in one place. So if I'm looking to locate my business, I click on this parcel, I can see if it's zoned for the right business, I can see what the restrictions are, those kinds of things are coming. We're also going to be working on a disaster recovery business continuity plan because stuff will happen, and my job is to make sure that the city can continue to run. Some of the fun stuff we're working on is a citywide broadband plan to make sure that we have competition, we have coverage for both commercial business use as well as for residential home use for broadband, high-speed broadband for everybody. That's laying the foundation for our smart city infrastructure. We also, because of COVID, had to put our financial system request for proposal on hold. We'll be bringing that back forward. And then, as they're supposed to do, all the city departments are asking for systems. And again, all of this is what we will be working on over the next year and trying to keep us all safe and keep us all productive. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Puccinelli. We appreciate the update. Council members, do we have questions? I do have one from Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you for your presentation, Ron. Does this protect our police department and the police records and all of that as well?
Yes.
And are police departments big targets for?
They are.
Okay.
Police, just the nature of what they do, you know, they work with people at perhaps not their best time of life. So they have information that bad guys would love to have. They are very much targets. Not to mention in the current environment, they're also targets for social activism. And this will protect and significantly improve our protections for our police department.
And it will be all of our buildings throughout the city?
Correct.
Okay, that will be protected,
Yes.
not just City Hall.
Correct. All of our locations.
All right, thank you so much.
Ron, you mentioned talking about citywide broadband and digital equity and things like that for our community. Is that something that you anticipate coming to us in the future to discuss? I'm always curious about competition with ISPs and things like that also want to compete for those services. So,
Yes, we will definitely be bringing forward a proposal. In my last city, we put together a complete plan that their council is still considering. The idea is not for us to get into necessarily, pending council's direction, we're not getting into competition, but how can we serve as a demand aggregator so that we make Menifee an attractive place to invest so that we get the benefits of the digital equity.
yeah, great, thank you. I know there's a few neighborhoods that have kids in school that maybe don't have quite the speed and of the amount of megabits per second and all that. So we want to make sure that everybody has equal share, and it'd be great for attracting businesses as well. So it's a good thing. But I'm looking forward to having that conversation when the time is right. Council members, anything else on that? I don't see anything else. Ron, thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right. So we're now going to move to our next one. This is 5.3, and it's our business spotlight with our friends Mason Jar, and I see Grace is here tonight. So if I could have Gina Gonzalez come up, and then the council, if we'd all come up too, because the next two are going to be up in front.
You got it. Good evening. My name is Gina Gonzalez, the Economic Development Director for the wonderful and great city of Menifee. I'm super excited here today to present our Business Spotlight program for the month of June. And tonight, the Business Spotlight program is a free business recognition program designed to create awareness on the variety of businesses that we have here in the beautiful city of Menifee and the contributions that they make to our community and overall our region. Tonight, we're here to honor the Mason Jar Brewing Company. And just a little bit about them. They started creating craft beer in their home and has turned into a full-scale operation known today as the Mason Jar Brewing Company. Founders Robert Carter and Grace Santiago discovered that their quality time together brewing delicious beer had turned into a successful passion project, to say the least, right? After winning several awards for their master brew, including gold for their dark chocolate coconut raspberry stout, in one of the largest home brew competitions in the entire nation. Very proud of that. Robert and Grace knew that they wanted to create their own brewery that went back to basics, crafting only the best products possible using premium hops and fresh local grown produce. Mason Jar Brewing Company was founded in the same city that Robert and Grace live, eat, play, and have raised a family in Menifee. They're more than just a brewery. They proudly focus on strong community, family values with a passion for brewing beautiful beer and welcoming a welcoming environment for their guests that feel right at home when they come in. From the moment that they step through the door to the moment that they take their first sip. Mason Jar is being honored for their notable generosity in the Menifee community, such as hosting fundraisers for cancer patients and pet adoptions. In addition, they have made donations to the Fire Benevolent Fund, Tribute to the Fallen Memorial Day Remembrance, Habitat for Humanity, Mount San Jacinto Community College, Arts Council of Menifee, and I can keep literally going on and on and on what Grace and Robert have done for our community. I could also attest that every single time that we needed something, they were there without a blink of an eye. Mason Jar has also offered their meeting space to those in need, nonprofits such as Rotary Club of Menifee, meet and greets, our business community, community members. I can go on and on and on. So we're here tonight to proudly present and premiere the Mason Jar Brewing Company's Business Spotlight. And before we jump into it, as part of the recognition program is a free 30-second commercial marketing video that they get to use however they like to promote their business. And it's just one of the additional ways is our way to say thank you to all of our businesses that go above and beyond. So with that, if you could go ahead and hit play, please. So with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to the mayor and let the council say a few words, and then we'll pass it over to Grace.
Well, thank you, Gina, and I thought that video was kind of neat. There is a certain beer that you guys do that has like bacon and maybe I don't know what it's called, but it is awesome. It's like a stout, yeah. But anyway, I love it, and thank you. You guys have been part of this community. As Gina mentioned, you've woven yourself into all of our service organizations and events, so thank you so much for being part of Menifee and choosing Menifee as the place to set up your business. So we're thankful. We have this nice commemorative plaque for you to hang on the wall and use every time you look at it. I hope it reminds you of this special day when both you and Robert were honored. So thank you. And we'll let you say a few words if you like.
Sure. Oh my gosh. Well, we're so honored to be in Menifee. This is our little town. This is where we love to be. This is where we raise our family. We couldn't think of being in any other city but Menifee. The residents are so amazing, and when we started this, we just wanted to create a meeting place, a place where ideas were created and friends were made, and just people fell in love with other residents of Menifee. So we're really glad that we've been able to bring the community together. We continue to do that. We just want to just see this city thrive and for other people to love it as much as we do. And we really thank you guys because we feel the love. We really, really do.
Thank you. Other council members, did you want to say anything? Anybody?
Hi, Grace. If it tells you anything about the mason jar, if I'm not mistaken, the uniqueness of the mason jar in Menifee and the success of your company inspired the city to create an entirely new position called a brewery ambassador to get more businesses like yours that you pioneered here in the city. So that just speaks volumes, and that you've been able to weather the storm, and it continues to grow and be successful, and your unique approach to marketing and sales through COVID and all that, and staying available to patrons has just been an example. So we really appreciate your being a part of the city.
Hey, Grace, as your #1 fan for Candy Cornholio, I'm a sucker for a Belgian blonde. I am so proud to remembering that night at the Planning Commission when we approved that project to go forward. Yeah. Billy, you were there too. Gosh, just what a success! Everything you talked about, your vision, bringing people together, creating ideas, all that stuff. I can say that I've personally done that myself. I know you have done that, and I'm so proud of the effort you guys have put out, and how far you've gone, the awards. I mean, it's just so awesome, and just so thankful for you guys being here and really setting the bar for a brewery, frankly. I mean, yeah. Hey? Yeah. No pun intended. Thank you, Grace. And Robert, thank you. I know he's out in Georgia. He's in Georgia? He's up late. Hey, Robert.
Well, I just want to say thank you for being a community supporter. You've kind of set the standard for businesses on how you can be there to help our residents and do things for our community. I mean, that says a lot for your investment here, and we greatly appreciate that.
Yes, I just wanted to thank you as well for your investment with our nonprofits and being involved in the community. True mom and pop, making a difference in the community, so thank you.
All right, if we can, could do a photo op. All right, everybody suck it in.
Suck in your mason jar, Billy.
All right. Anything else, Gina? All right, we're good. Thank you. Well done. Great presentation, great video. Let's give her a hand. Yep. All right, next up we have our Citizen of the Month. I'm going to ask Bob O'Donnell. He is here with us tonight. Longtime resident, former postmaster who helped start the Sun City Post Office. So he's been a school board member since before electricity. And we're just, sorry, just kidding. Bob's been great in this community. He's just one of those people who, when you think about a public servant, Bob comes to mind right away. He's just top-notch gentleman. And so with that, we wanted to honor you. This is kind of something that we used to do, and during COVID we couldn't do, so we're pleased to be able to do this again. Each council member gets a chance each month to rotate and pick somebody, and so you were chosen by Councilman Dynas. So I'm going to pass the mic to him and have him say a few words.
Well, I replaced Bob on the Valley Health Systems Board of Directors, and shortly after that, we formed a citizens committee to disperse $1.5 million to nonprofits. And that's when I realized exactly how well-known and how involved Bob is with our community. We were putting together this little proclamation here that I got to thinking, it'd probably be quicker just to say what he hasn't done as opposed to what he has done. I just realized how much he's been involved in, and this probably doesn't even cover everything. You've probably forgotten more things that you've been involved in that we've ever known about. But let me go ahead and read this. This award is presented to Bob O'Donnell in recognition of your voluntary service to the Menifee Hospital Auxiliary, Menifee Hospital Advisory Board, Menifee Historical Society, Harbor House Hospice for Sun City residents, Sheriff Crime Watch, and Menifee Police Department. In behalf of the Menifee City Council, thank you for everything you've done for our community. And I'm sure there's other things, because I know we've talked about that, but it's really great to have someone like this in our community. So he's not just a long-term resident, but he's a long-term community volunteer as well. And he's made a difference for our city, and we greatly appreciate Bob for that. Say some words?
Well, thank you very much. This is a real honor to receive this. I'm humbled again by getting something like this. You know, it's been 50 years I've been here now. Started at the post office in '71 and retired in 2002. Been on the school board since 1983. Been lucky that the community has elected me each time to be on the school board. And then there's other activities. People say, what have you done in retirement? I said, well, I'm a community volunteer. And I think that best says it, because when you're involved in the community and you're helping people, you help yourself. And there's a little saying that I picked up today, and I think it says a lot also, because you touched me tonight. How beautiful a day can be when kindness touches it. Your kindness today has touched me immensely. So I thank you very much for all my friends that are here from the school district, from the community. You know, this is what it's all about when you have something that people want to do nice things for people. So I will continue onward, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob.
I have to say something, because I've known you since 1989, when we met at the Menifee Union School District, and you being a school board member. And your example that you have been to me, I just can't thank you enough. And I love you. You're a great friend, and you've been there for me, and we've been there for each other, and you've been there for this, all of the families and children here in Menifee, the seniors with the hospice, the Crime Watch. You just give of yourself selfishly. And I just can't think of a better person. And I'm grateful for Dean for nominating you for Outstanding Citizen of the Month. And I just wish you many, many, many more years of community service, because you're a great guy.
That was well said.
Can I tell one funny story? I have one funny story that I want to tell you, and then I'll let the meeting commence. I came here when I was 23 years old, and everybody in the community was much more mature than me. Well, if you stay long enough, you become that mature person. So I just thought it's kind of funny, you know, when you figure that it's 50 years that I've been here, and I've seen so much, and it's become a greater and greater community because of people like you. So thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Let's give him a hand. Stay here. We're going to take a photo, and then I think there's some other folks that are here too, and we're going to ask them to join us in the photo as well. All right, and if you're here for Bob, I know Tara's here, and yes, please, everybody who would like to be in a photo. Looks like Betty's got some flowers.
This is another gift of love from us.
Thank you so much.
Why don't you guys come inside?
From me, those are manly flowers.
Well, the best leaders are servant leaders, and Bob certainly is that. You're a great mentor and example to all of us, so thank you. Well deserved. Hey, Ron, I'm going to sit.
glad we can do that again.
All right. I think we can all agree that was a great choice for Citizen of the Month. So now we are on item 6. This is agenda approval or modifications. Madam Clerk, are there any modifications to tonight's agenda?
Yes, Your Honor. Staff requests continuance of item 11.2. That is the 5-year capital improvement program.
Okay. Let me just check something real quick here. Okay. All right, council members, any concerns with pulling that or questions?
Why?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Why are we pulling?
I thought we were at the finish line on that.
We're very, very close. We did notice that there's a number of budget amendment resolutions that took place last year at mid-year that we need to sort of close the gap on and tell the story how that funding ended up there. So we wanted to make sure that that made it to the plan. So we're requesting a little bit of time to correct that.
Okay. So let me just make a quick note here. And Madam Clerk, any other modifications staff's requesting?
No other modifications.
All right. So council members, I did hear a motion to approve as modified.
Second.
All right, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we have a modified agenda. I'm just finishing some notes here. Point 2. Continued. Okay. Okay, thank you. So let's move now to item 7. This is public comments on non-agendized items. Please bear with me for a second. I'm going to just read this. This is the time for members of the public to address the council about items that are not listed on the agenda. The Brown Act limits the council's ability to respond to comments on non-agendized matters at the time those comments are made. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes on any single item. For more information on how to participate in the meeting, please visit the city's website at cityofmenifee.us. Please also, let me add this. The City Council is inviting the public back to attend meetings in person with limited seating. The public is also invited to attend for in-person public comments. For information on how to reserve a seat for future meetings or how to sign up for in-person public comments, please visit the city's website. Anyone who's watching this meeting at home, if you'd like to provide public comments, you must register to speak by emailing public comments at cityofmenifee.us prior to the item being heard. Please be sure to identify which items you'd like to speak on. You'll receive instructions on how to participate in the meeting virtually. With that all being read, Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers for non-agenda items?
Yes, first up is Thomas Powers.
All right, Mr. Powers, you have 3 minutes, sir. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Members of the council, mayor.
No, on the base.
Bottom of it, there's a button, hold it in.
There you go. I think it clicked. Well,
Test?
there you go.
Okay, now it's working. Anyways, thank you for letting me speak today. I have 2 things I want to talk about. The first thing is I want to thank the city council and the city in general for allowing I Own Giovanni's Restaurant, allowing us to operate during the COVID. We did all the COVID compliance stuff for a long time, but then we got tired of it, and our customers got tired of it. And we put a sign up, said, if you're sick, stay home. If you're not, you can come in and eat. And they did. But when the COVID first hit, the thing we had that happened was all of a sudden our dining in customers turned into to-go customers. So we had a real hard time finding to-go containers and things like this. After the first week we did, and then we realized that our business actually increased by 40%. which means we got about 40% new customers. And then when we opened back up partially, some of those customers became dine-in customers. So COVID was actually a good thing for us. It really was. But another thing that has come to my attention just yesterday, and I left a couple messages here for some of the council members to give me a call because I was kind of curious why Newport Plaza was not informed of this. On the east, just east of us, in the vacant lot there on Newport and Bradley, the new development is going in. And the developer came to me and said, "Did you know about this?" And I said, "No." And he showed me all the notices. And evidently, this has been in the works since October of 2020. And it'd be really nice to know about this stuff that's going on before it happens, before it's actually going to be concluded. I can't remember how many years ago but it was exactly. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. We had quite a few meetings in regards to the left-hand turn being taken out on Newport Road coming into the Newport Plaza. We asked that they make it a double broken yellow line so we could get access left-hand turn also, but they just made it only for the McDonald's Center. Must be a little money there is what everybody thought. So anyway, we lived through that, the left-hand closure coming in off of Newport into the Newport Plaza. We lost about 36% of our business for almost 3.5 months. Mr. Kaysen brought me the information yesterday, and I got to look through all the plans, the changes on the plans and all this. And now we were promised a left-hand turn lane on Bradley coming into the driveway next to the tire center. We were promised that when they closed the one on Newport. Now they're saying for safety reasons and everything else, they're going to close that left-hand turn lane coming into Newport Center. And I just, I know it's kind of a dead fight. They don't have, they said they're going to widen the road and we're going to be able to keep that left-hand turn. And now, all of a sudden, we're going to lose more customers because they can't make a right turn onto Bradley and make a left turn into the shopping center there. And I was just kind of curious, why all of a sudden promises are made and then they're broken because another lot's going to be developed. And if anybody's got some answers for me, I'd appreciate it.
All right, thank you. I think that's the time. Tom, I'm going to encourage you to meet with our Public Works Director, Mr. Fiddler. I know he's here, and maybe he can meet you in the lobby and give you his card. And he's the appropriate person to work on engineering details like that and work all those out. So,
okay.
But thank you for coming tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your
Okay.
opinion.
Yeah, because I can see taking away a left-hand turn out of the parking lot.
Yep.
But one coming in, it doesn't make sense because there's no driveways going in on opposite of that at all.
Yeah. Thank you for coming, and he's the best person to share that with.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Tom. All right, any other speakers on non-agendized items?
Yes, the next speaker is Colleen Oakes. Oakes.
It used to be Griswold. I can't get a good last name. Hi, I'm Colleen Oakes. I live off of Morning Breeze Drive. I came here about 10 years ago, bought a home. The backside of Morning Breeze Drive now is that flood zone, and that was specifically why I bought the house. No neighbors behind. And of course, now the Salt Creek Trail goes through there. Many of my neighbors and I have thought, oh, well, the city has invited everybody into our backyards that used to be very private. Now the city has got this trail going through here. That's fine. We enjoy the walkers, the runners, the hikers. But what is happening, and I'm not sure you're aware of it, that's why I'm here, we have ongoing fireworks before the trail was even established. And we're not talking little fireworks. We see the remainders of them the next morning. They're pretty big. We have golf carts with loud music going behind the house, motorcycles, razors. Party starts about sunset. So I I guess my question was, the city put in this trail, who's monitoring it? That's all we wanted to ask. I was kind of represented to come here and bring this to your attention. The neighbors will be coming later if they don't see improvement, and they're very concerned about 4th of July because it was very, very active last year. And now that the trail's there, everyone seems to enjoy it for bad purposes as well. There is a gate that has been broken many, many, many times, so maybe that needs to be looked into as far as redoing that gate of some nature. There is a big sign posted, no motor vehicles, but nobody's enforcing it.
Okay. All right, Ms. Oakes, thank you so much for taking the time tonight and sharing that with us. I am going to ask if Mr. Nix, our Community Services Director, can give you his card. He's oversees Parks and Rec, and so the trail's kind of part of his purview. So, and our Chief Walsh is also overseeing law enforcement for the people that are out there on motorcycles and whatnot. So, all right, Madam Clerk, do we have?
Can I just add one more thing to that? I live on Morning Breeze. Oh, hi. So come see me.
It's Country Fair that's moving
Yeah, she's talking about the EMWD gate that gets busted down so people get access to there from there, and our chief of police is in charge of enforcing.
Yeah, perfect.
We just had the guy that jumped the wall and ran right by us when we were doing garage sales and went down one of the streets, and apparently that was all on part of the trail too, so
Well,
it just needs monitoring.
That's right. Well, now you know who your councilman is, so you guys can stay in touch. All right, thank you for sharing tonight. Madam Clerk, other speakers under?
I do not have any other requests to speak.
All right, thank you so much. So that now moves us to item 8, and this is council member updates and comments, and so I will.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Someone, there we have a resident with their hands up.
I'm sorry.
My name's Thomas Powers as well.
Oh.
I've asked to speak too.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so if, what we'll do is have you come up, and then if you don't mind just filling out a speaker slip real quick, if you haven't done so already, and then the clerk will know who you are. So I'm going to go ahead and take you right now.
And there's no need to fill out a speaker slip. I'll add you.
All right, and this is Tom Jr., right?
Not Junior.
Not Jr.?
Different middle names, so.
Okay.
But, yeah, as my father was saying, you know, it was brought to our attention about that left-hand turn being eliminated. You know, we've been there, the restaurant's been there for over 30 years. You know, he's gonna be retiring soon, and I wanna make sure we have that accessibility still to our restaurant. You know, when we did lose that left-hand turn, we did lose a great amount of sales, not just us, you know, but every tenant in that plaza left it. And loss of revenue isn't just loss of revenue for us, but also for the city as well, because you guys benefit from what we gain. So I know you gave a card to my father, you know, I'm gonna be following up with him.
Good.
Because we're gonna work collaboratively, because we'd like to keep our accessibility accessible, in all honesty. So I'll keep it short and sweet, but thank you for letting me speak, and thank you all council members. You guys have been doing a great job. Love the city of Menifee. I've been here since 1987 when I moved here at 10. So,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Powers. We appreciate you coming. And I think that's it. So we're now going to move to our council member updates, and I'll start on my right with Councilman Carwin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I had the opportunity to attend. I saw that you were there as well at the Paloma Valley High School graduation, which was fantastic. Really enjoyed seeing everybody out there in person. Gave a sense of normalcy to be able to conclude the high school career for those students in a tangible manner. And so that was excellent to see. I attended the Chamber of Commerce Menifee Munch at the Bushfire Grill on Monday. That was an in-person event, which was, again, staggering. We were there, and it was great to connect with a lot of the members of the community and kind of getting things back ramped up, which was great. I want to mention, I want to wish the best to our Paloma Valley High School girls basketball team, who were CIF runner-ups, but in the first round of the state tournament beat the #1 seed. They traveled up to Santa Maria for 4 hours, and they won, and they came back. So on Thursday, tomorrow night, they're going down to Chula Vista for the second round of the state tournament. So good luck to them. And the last thing is I actually took a conference with EMWD regarding the construction going on Murrieta Road, and a lot of people have been asking about what's going on, and I wanted to go directly to the source. So I called EMWD, and they said what's going on, if people don't know, is they're putting in a pipeline that goes from the desalination plant just north of the of Salt Creek, and they're going to put in a pipeline that's going to go all the way down Murrieta to La Piedra, and they're doing it in stages. First stage is across the creek. They're the questions that I've been getting, number one, no, they're not going to do both sides. They're only running the pipe down one side, so when that side is done, they're not going to then close the other side. When that side is done, it's done. Secondarily, they are in a hard out on that, regardless of their intended timing, hard out in middle of October. The signs say August 31st is when they're going to reopen it. That's the goal date. But regardless of whether they meet it or not, nature has set a date of October 15th, because that's when the rains start, and they have to be done with that section before the rains come. And they are actually aware of that, and they're watching that, and that's the timing. When the section is done, they will then move down in sections along Murrieta Road, up to Newport, across Newport, and then from Newport to La Piedra. And they've assured me that when they do the section that's going to cross Newport Road, they'll be doing that at night as much as they possibly can, and they expect to be able to have at least one lane of traffic open in each direction. They're not going to be closing one entire direction of Newport Road like they've done with the bridge. They had to do it that way for logistics and safety measures, but on Newport, they're going to be able to keep at least one lane open in each direction for that project. And then I want to let folks know that we've been hearing the calls of folks who are upset about the increase in speed and volume of traffic, specifically on Potomac Drive, because that's the detour that they're sending people down from when you come down to Murrieta and you reach Salt Creek, and you have to go across to Bradley Road to get to where you were going. Potomac is the road they send you down. We are aware that people are driving disrespectfully, shall I say, on that road. And we're doing what we can to try to get that taken care of. Our PD is out there writing citations. Never going to get everybody, but we're trying to slow down as much as we can. So I just want everybody to know that we are aware of it, we're mindful of it, and we're doing everything in our power to take care of it.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Councilman Leesmeyer.
Yeah, very briefly. As I reported out a couple of months ago, WRCOG had seen a tremendous uptick in the revenue in the TUMP program, a large portion of that coming from the city of Menifee and our development. As a result of that, we had a internal draft tip meeting between the central zone, which is Menifee, Paris, and Moreno Valley, and then some of the county areas. And Menifee staff worked diligently with WRCOG staff to identify an additional $5.275 million in reimbursement funds eligible for the city of Menifee for this fiscal year. Fiscal year 21-22, and then for 22-23, another $3.3 million. So projects that were added funding: McCall Road widening, 215 interchange, Scott Road widening, Holland Road, and Scott Road, and then Newport Road 215 interchange. There's actually some money coming back out of that project because there's money left over in that fund as well. So that is a draft plan. That plan will then go to the entire committee first Monday of July for approval, hopefully, fingers crossed. So that's good news for us.
Yes.
WRCOG also appointed the new director. His name is Kurt Wilson. He's got an extensive background in city management, bankruptcy management. As a lot of people know, WRCOG had a branch break off, more or less, and they created an entity called Western Community Energy where you could buy your power, and then if you opted out of that, it was the CCA, right? And it actually didn't work out too well. So they're trying to figure out how to clean that up, but that does not affect our city because we did not sign up for it. And last, just coming up, June 24th is the WRCOG General Assembly from 4 to 5. It's an online deal, so if you can register there and watch the online thing, it's about an hour long. That's all I got.
All right, thank you,
Oh,
Councilman.
you know, I apologize. And you probably have her name, but I wanted to reach out and say thank you to Vicki Carpenter for inviting me to the Rotary meeting where we got to see a preview of a local artist's artwork, and it was really great to hear that. Hopefully we can get her name, but that was fantastic. So thank you, Vicki, for the invite.
Yep, good one. I'm glad you were there. All right, Councilman Dinas.
Thank you. Briefly, I had the honor of attending the Heritage High School graduation. Over 600 seniors are onto their new phase of their life. Congratulations to them, and especially during this time of distant learning, they worked hard and deserve that graduation, that high school diploma greatly. This also attended the Youth Leader of Menifee Teen Awards. That was really great with the mayor and Councilmember Sobek. They are youth leaders, but they are leaders. They've done things in our community that volunteer and stuff. So I would say future leaders, but really they're leading already as teens. So and it's great to see that we have youth in our city that answer the call for leadership. Then finally, I attended the Menifee Valley Community Covered Celebrity Karaoke, which is a fundraiser with all the talented Menifee folks that were, including our beloved mayor here that partook in that. So we had a good time, and they were able to raise some funds for their organization and to help out our residents in need. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thanks, Councilman, and Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. And so I'd like to report out tonight a few things to our council members. I did represent the city council just yesterday in Temecula for the Mike Nagar, our I guess you could say council member and mayor, 5 times Mike Nagar, for the dedication and retirement for his 23 years of public service. And that was on the council that did not include him as a planning commissioner. If you're not aware of it, Mike really brought attention in the city of Temecula to inclusion and special needs. And because of his direction and his leadership, they have several parks that are dedicated to inclusion for all play, for all children. And so they did rename one of their parks, and it's Mike Nagar Community Park. And I just brought this to show you that they named the park after him. I had the opportunity to serve with him as mayor on the Cancer Care Task Force and on the Homeless Task Force for Southwest Riverside County, and had a lot of great conversations with him, picked his brain about development, and he was just a great leader. I thought he made me feel special because of who I was, but I found out he did that to everybody. So just a great guy all around. So I represented all of us there yesterday, and I want to say thank you to Imelda Herta for representing the city manager's office there. We got there for a 4 o'clock ceremony outside in 110-degree weather under a tarp on the blacktop, and it didn't get over with until after 7 o'clock. So it was a long afternoon. Today we had an RCA executive committee meeting that I'm on that executive committee, and the board meeting will come at the beginning of July, where I'll be able to report out on. Last week I had the privilege to visit the Temecula Amphitheater for the first summer concert in the park. What a treat that was to be able to do a little homework and to see what an amphitheater can do for a community. There were older couples standing there dancing in the evening, arm in arm. There were children dancing with their parents. There were people, just everyone having a great time. So I just wanted to share that. I did find out just today that the new Menifee Library will be opening July 17th at 10 a.m. They said that an invitation is coming and that they would like to invite all of the city council and city to attend that grand opening. Tonight is the first time in many months that, as I have been reporting out each city council meeting, how many residents we have lost to the coronavirus, and this is the first time in many months that I don't have to report any residents that we lost to that horrible virus.
Good.
And so, again, the youth leaders, Dean reported out on that,
thanks to our Community Service Department for that wonderful program which they hold. And I'll tell you, when I see youth leaders like that, I just know our future's in good hands, you know? So kudos to all those youth and the great job that they do. So that's all I have for tonight.
All right, thanks, Mayor Pro Tem Sobek. I'm going to try to go quick with my report. This is since our last meeting, June 2nd. As you know, we still have our ongoing every other week Emergency Operation Committee meetings. On June 3rd, the Rotary Club had Adam Eventoff, and he talked about the future of energy. It was a great presentation. On June 3rd, I was able to attend the Paloma Valley High School graduation and see all of those young people graduating and give them a high five. And then on Friday, June 4th, I attended the Murrieta Temecula group. They had a speaker, Komi Ajise, he's the executive director for SCAG, and he talked a lot about the challenges and with planning growth and housing and infrastructure policies and all those kinds of things. Very informative. On Monday, June 7th, I spent time with our kids at Boys and Girls Club summer camp and took them over to the museum so they can learn a little bit about Menifee's history. And that evening was our Youth Leaders Teen Awards, and joined by Councilmember Dinas and Sobek. And it was, I agree with you guys, it was just really great, and our future's bright with those young people. They're outstanding. On June 8th, we had a community partners meeting. It was virtual, but it was good to get a lot of our service organizations back together. And that night, the Quail Valley Community Group held their meeting at the Moose over there in Quail Valley, and there were some city updates with police, code enforcement, community services, and they had a guest speaker. It was our new waste management representative, Art Marquez, and so he gave some updates at that for the folks there in Quail Valley. On Wednesday the 9th, I had an Rctc Commission. I wanted to hand out a few things. I gave one to Councilman Carwin, but can you pass that to Dean? What you'll see there is some of the things that we approved at our last Rctc Commission, which included Measure A funding that comes to many cities, but what I printed out was the page that was the items that are coming to Menifee that we can anticipate some commitments from Rctc. The second page is fiscal year 21-22 for SB 821. It's kind of a call for projects, but you can see there's some pedestrian projects that are there. That one's really all about bike and pedestrian facilities program, 821. So there were quite a few proposals. There was 35, and 15 of them were approved, and Menifee got 2 of those. So that's kind of good news. So I just want to kind of share that that happened at Rctc. On Thursday, June the 10th, we had an idea exchange here. Remember, we used to call it Mayor's Roundtable. And this was great. We had our tech industry was kind of the subject. Boy, the conversation was awesome. We talked about cybersecurity and digital equity, broadband, curriculum alignment, because we had all of our school IT folks that were here talking about what they're doing, but they wanted to, as a lot of the students matriculate from elementary school in their STEM programs and middle school and the high school and even the college. So we had those representatives here. And really, I think one of the things we learned is that the young people in here are working with computers, but they're playing video games instead of thinking about their careers, which could be cybersecurity. So we want to kind of emphasize that the best we can, so they're thinking about using their technology skills. Okay, so anyway, that was great, and I just thank everybody that attended that. On Friday the 11th, the Boys and Girls Club had a 7-year anniversary. It's kind of a welcome barbecue. I don't know if you guys know it, but Boys and Girls Club has been here 7 years now. It's absolutely awesome. One of the best things I think that's happened into this city. And then later that night, we had the celebrity karaoke fundraiser for the cupboard, and that was a good time for everybody. Our supervisor, Jeff Hewitt, was there with his staff, and so it was just great to see everybody back in person, kind of enjoying themselves socially. On Sunday, June 13th, a group called Milvet, and I think you guys know Raven, she hosted an event over at Spirit Park. It was kind of a barbecue for veterans, and it was great. We had the VFW was there. We had Operation Silver Star. I ended up staying there for about 2 hours in the heat, but I was meeting folks that are here in Menifee that are veterans that I had never met, and so it was a great time. And so she plans on doing more of those, so hopefully we can show our support. This morning I attended a mayor's Zoom. It was multiple mayors virtually hosted by the league, and Aaron Sassy had arranged for a couple of speakers. They were kind of specialists that are at the state. They lobby for local control through the league, but it had to do with a lot of the anticipated legislation regarding what Ron Puccinelli was talking to us about tonight, and that's cybersecurity. It's also talking about broadband and how we can deliver that to our communities for smart cities initiatives and things like that. So it was a lot of great information that was shared. So I think that's something that's probably going to be on our in our voices a lot in the next couple of years for sure. So that is all, folks, for that. If anybody else has anything else, I don't hear anything, so we will move on. We're now on our consent calendar. This is item 10, and I'll just read this. All matters on the consent calendar are to be approved in one motion unless a council member requests.
Mayor, I apologize. I believe you skipped over item 9, approval of minutes.
I'm sorry, you're right, I did. So we are going to be approving 9.1. This is the joint workshop minutes from May 26th. Council members, do we have any changes to that? Hearing none, all in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that's approved unanimously, and thank you, Madam Clerk, for keeping me from skipping that one. Back to our consent calendar. So if an item's removed from the consent calendar, it'll be discussed individually and acted upon separately. So with that, I would like to pull item 1015. I see Juan Perez is here from the county, and that item is something that I think he's probably going to want to share with us something. So I'm going to pull that, but council members, do we have any other items that we'd like to pull from consent? Okay, I have a motion for the balance in a second.
Your Honor, I do have a request to speak
Thank you.
on item item 1021, Ed Samuelson.
Okay, thank you. Ed, no?
No, I apologize. Nope. Let me clarify.
Did you have a slip turned in, Ed, for something?
Nope, I apologize.
Okay. So we are pulling 1015 only, and I do have a motion and a second for the balance. Okay, here comes our electronic voting.
Apologize, Mayor, my screen is asleep.
Uh-oh. Ron, we may need a little help.
I can get it.
Got Ernesto to the rescue.
Huh? It's just totally like, yeah.
Just timed out.
Yep. Come on, baby.
It looks like that passes unanimously, so we will go ahead and take our pulled item, which is 1015, the Cooperative Agreement for Fire Services. This is to approve a 4-month extension for that agreement. If we could have our friend Juan Perez from the county come and share a few thoughts with us and give us some updates, and welcome. Thanks for coming and taking some time to be
Great.
here in beautiful Menifee.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and very much a pleasure to be here. And it is beautiful Menifee, and my first time in your beautiful new location here. I have to admit, I drove to the old police station earlier. So congratulations just to the city on everything. It's just such a pride for us to see how well the city's doing and thriving, and just a wonderful place to be. I wanted to just say a few words in support of the item, and more than anything, just in support of the continuing partnership that we value so much between the city, county, and CAL FIRE. Let me introduce a couple of our folks here from CAL FIRE. From our fire executive team, we have Chief Casey Hartman. And we have our Deputy Director of Administration, Diane St. Clair, so I appreciate them being here today. And really just want to, again, restate our support and desire to work closely with you, with your staff, as we work to bring back a contract that continues to look at our services and what we can do to meet all the city's needs, enhance services wherever you'd like us to do that, and just continue to provide you with the outstanding fire service that I know you're proud to have today. So just wanted to come out and it's nice to be able to get out once again, and I hope to be able to come back more often on other things. I'll be trying to join you as well at the library groundbreaking here coming up. So again, just very much appreciate the opportunity to say a few words and to see all of you again, and I look forward to coming back. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perez. Stay there for a sec, because I think Armando wanted to share a few words as well.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and council members. Thank you, Juan. Normally, we would be bringing a contract for a multi-year contract extension for the fire, but this time we are requesting the council grant us the opportunity to have a 4 months extension of time. There's some things that we need to sort out. There's some opportunities in the future to enhance services, and we'd like to have a conversation with the county to see how those could be done. So again, thank you, Juan, and the folks at the fire department. They've been excellent. And as we continue to grow, the city is going to need additional services. And before we embark on a 3-year extension, we'd like to be able to see areas for enhancement and areas that we can improve on for our residents. So that's why we want to do a 4 months extension. And I'm hopeful that it's not going to take that long. I think we could probably sort things out over the next couple of months and be able to come back to the council with a 3-year contract. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. And before you go, I just wanted to share something with Chief Hartman. We hear from our residents here often how much they appreciate CAL FIRE, how much they appreciate our first responders in general. They're treated with respect and they feel safe. And so I just wanted to just pass that along. We get praised for it, but it's your team that's doing it. So thank you. Yeah. Anything else, council members, you want to share? Feel free. You got Juan here, man. This is like.
Well, do we have, I didn't put in a request, excuse me, Mayor. Do we have an update on the ladder truck?
Chief, that's a hard question, Mayor Pro Tem, so I'm going to turn over to Chief Hardman to be able to speak to that.
And I apologize, I didn't know anybody was coming to say I would ask that question.
Good evening. To my knowledge now, the ladder truck is in service, or it's pretty close to being in service. We had some issues with some weight in the equipment that's on the apparatus that we're working through. But your decision to purchase that is an excellent decision. You know, it provides our firefighters the tools and the apparatus that they need to continue the service that they provide.
Yeah.
So hopefully that answered your question. It's if it's not there, it should be very shortly. We're working out some of those issues with the weight.
Okay. Because I know we been waiting to hear so we can let our public know that we had a new reliable ladder truck, because I understand the old one was past its lifespan and has spent more time out of service than in service.
Correct. And I can get with Armando later this evening and get you that detail.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And I know Councilman Leesmeyer also wanted to share something.
Just as a follow-up, Chief Hartman, are you going to be overseeing Menifee? I'm wondering why you're here. I apologize, no offense. I just want to understand.
Chief Weiser left town on vacation with his wife,
Got
so
it.
he couldn't be here tonight. So I'm here supporting Juan and representing the fire department.
Okay. You might not know this, but recently we stopped having our monthly public safety committee meetings, and in those meetings we would get the monthly update report from CAL FIRE. I just wanted to maybe put in a request if we could continue to get that report, despite not having the public safety meeting. That would be a great piece of information for us. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, we appreciate you being here. Ms. Sinclair, thank you also for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on now in our agenda.
Motion to approve the item?
Yeah, second.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Safe drive home.
Take care. We'll
See you,
soon.
Juan.
All right, so we're getting our electronic votes. And that passed unanimously. So we are now on item 11, and this is 11.1 for our calendar year 2020 delinquent solid waste accounts. And Mr. City Manager, would you just explain staff's request to continue this item?
Yes, Mayor, we do this every year, but this time we'd like to request a continuous to be date-specific. We do have a public notification out there that is requesting that it be heard tonight, but because we don't have the item ready for you, we are requesting the council to continue this item to July 7th.
Okay, so we do have date certain for that. We're going to take a vote on that. Can I get a motion in a second?
moved.
Okay.
Second.
It's funny that we vote to continue, but that's what we got to do. All right, that item is continued to July 7th. Our next one is 11.2, and this was also removed from our agenda, as we heard earlier. And that brings us to item 11.3 then. Community Facilities District Levy Ordinances. These are all maintenance CFDs. Mr. City Manager, is there a procedure? Did we need to do anything on that item?
I think the request is to be able to introduce an ordinance, and I think we are going to have our city clerk read the ordinance by title and request that the further reading be waived. Apologize for that. We do have a staff report on this item.
All right, thank you. Ms. Clayton, you're going to be presenting?
Yes, good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I do also have Shane Spicer from Spicer Consulting on the line. And, oh, let me grab the clicker. Okay, sorry about that. So this is an annual public hearing for the ordering the levy and collection of the special taxes for the community facilities districts that are specific to maintenance. Each fiscal year, again, we place this on the tax roll. The County of Riverside does require that we provide the list to them in advance. We do have fluctuations with the amounts that are levied for the maintenance based on needs and size and so forth. And the way the ordinance was adopted, this is something that does need to come to public hearing each year. This is specific to CFD 2012 for Audie Murphy Ranch, 2012-1, 2012-2 for Hidden Hills, 2014-1 for Town Center, 2014-2 for Commerce Point, and 2015-2 for 28 zones of maintenance services, and 2017-1 for, again, citywide maintenance services. All of the costs within these maintenance districts are to maintain, service, and clean, repair or replace landscape areas and public street right-of-ways, public landscaping, parks, open spaces, and other similar landscaped areas dedicated for public use, including street sweeping and paving, pavement management, street lighting and traffic signal maintenance, graffiti removal, abatement, flood and storm protection services, and the operation of storm drainage systems. In addition, the administration costs are included as well. Again, I stated the county requires a certified ordinance for the Auditor Controller's Office each year to confirm the tax roll. These ordinances are amending the previous ordinances approved last year, and after the second reading, this will go forward. This is a map of each of the areas, and there is no fiscal impact to the city's general fund. The recommended action is first reading and adoption. I do apologize for the length of this, again, but the consent calendar does authorize the waiving of reading with the exception of titles. So that's all that we need to read, luckily, tonight. It is lengthy, but it's required. So we'll go forward if approved, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Clayton. Council members, this is the opportunity for questions, and I do see one from Councilman Carwin.
Thank you. I will attribute this to being the new guy. I don't have the history on this legislation, so I'm just curious for my own education, maybe the public. Are these taxes are annually recalculated? This isn't something new that we are imposing on these residence areas?
Correct.
So it's not something that has not been there, but these have been historically. How old are these CFDs?
So the years, it's off the off of the PowerPoint now, but the years that they were titled are the years that they were adopted.
Oh, okay.
So the oldest that we have is going back to 2012. I believe we had 2 for 2012, 2 for 2014. And then those are specific to those areas. And then the 2015 2 and 2017 1 are citywide maintenance services that we bring back. The annexations that we bring back annex into the city's maintenance districts are referring to 2015 2 and 2017 1. Most notably, we now annex into 2017 1.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that we were voting on new taxes for these, and so it's an ongoing recalculation. Understood. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Any other questions for clarification? Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing at 7:38. Madam Clerk, was this public hearing legally noticed?
Yes, it was legally noticed.
Did you receive any correspondence on this item?
No correspondence received.
Thank you. And do we have any public testimony requests to speak?
No requests to speak.
All right, I'm going to close the public hearing at 7:39 and ask the council if you'd like to discuss. And before we do any voting, I'm going to need the clerk to do a little reading, but let's open it up for discussion first. So Councilman Leesmeyer.
Just very briefly, Rochelle, if a resident of one of these CFDs wanted to obtain information regarding the expenditures, how would they go about doing that?
They can contact me. Margarita Cornejo does oversee a lot of the budgeting and expenditure budgeting in coordination with Public Works, of course. So they can reach out to me directly, and I can coordinate the information and set up a meeting.
Okay. About how long does that take to respond and get back to people?
If it's an email response, we can get back within 1 day. If it's a meeting that we'd want to set up and schedule something, that would probably be a week or so out, depending on schedule.
Perfect. Thanks. No questions.
Sure.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, do you mind reading the ordinances by title?
An ordinance amending ordinance number 2012-103 and levying special taxes to be collected during fiscal year 2021-22 to pay the annual costs of the maintenance and servicing of streetlights, parks, parkways, streets, roads, and open space, the operation and maintenance of storm drainage systems, a reserve fund for capital replacement, and administrative expenses with respect to City of Menifee Community Facilities District Number 2012-1, Audie Murphy Ranch. An ordinance amending ordinance number 2012-208 and levying special taxes to be collected during fiscal year 2021-22 to pay the annual costs of the maintenance and servicing of streetlights, parks, parkways, streets, roads, and open space, the operation and maintenance of storm drainage systems, a reserve fund for capital replacement and administrative expenses with respect to City of Menifee Community Facilities District Number 2012-2, Hidden Hills. An ordinance amending ordinance number 2014-153 and levying special taxes to be collected during fiscal year 2021-22 to pay the annual costs of the maintenance and servicing of streetlights, parks, parkways, streets, roads, and open space, the operation and maintenance of storm drainage systems, a reserve fund for capital replacement and administrative expenses with respect to City of Menifee Community Facilities District Number 2014-1, Town Center. An ordinance amending ordinance number 2014-154 and levying special taxes to be collected during fiscal year 2021-22 to pay the annual costs of the maintenance and servicing of streetlights, parks, parkways, streets, roads, and open space, the operation and maintenance of storm drainage systems, a reserve fund for capital replacement, and administrative expenses with respect to City of Menifee Community Facilities District Number 2014-2, Commerce Point. An ordinance amending ordinance number 2015-173 and levying special taxes to be collected during fiscal year 2021-22 to pay the annual costs of the maintenance and servicing of streetlights, parks, parkways, streets, roads, and open space, the operation and maintenance of storm drainage systems, a reserve fund for capital replacement, and administrative expenses with respect to City of Menifee Community Facilities District Number 2015-2 Maintenance Services. Last one. An ordinance amending ordinance number 2017-231 and levying special taxes to be collected during fiscal year 2021-22 to pay the maintenance and servicing of landscape, lighting, water quality improvements, graffiti, streets, street sweeping, parks, and trail maintenance, a reserve fund for capital replacement and administrative expenses with respect to City of Menifee Community Facilities District Number 2017-1 Maintenance Services. And that's it.
Well done, thank you. If there's no other discussion, we'll entertain a motion to introduce all of the ordinances together.
So moved.
All right.
Second?
And that passed unanimously. All right, let's move to item 12. This is our discussion items. 12.1 is strategic vision plan update. Mr. City Manager, would you introduce your staff member for the report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you recall, in March, we brought to you in the form of a workshop a review of the strategic plan that we adopted back in 2018, and we try to do this at least every 6 months, and every year we do a tune-up of the plan to make sure that we are keeping up with growth. So what's presented to you today is the results of the March workshop, and we did state to you that we were going to update the plan to give it a new look and update the artwork, and then also make it so that it's more transparent, and hopefully it is our hope that we're going to be able to upload into to our website to make it more interactive and useful for the public. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Imelda Huerta, which will help us overview the project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Armando. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. Again, my name is Imelda Huerta, Senior Management Analyst in the City Manager's Office. And as Armando mentioned, this is a follow-up to our March 15th workshop that we held. And just wanted to state for the record that in your red folders, you do have an updated spreadsheet. There were a couple of cells that had to be reformatted, specifically under public safety, item 1.1.2, and under land use, 2.48 and 2.4.8 and 2.5. Those cells had to be reformatted. Some of them are partially hidden. And then we also updated a couple of completion dates, specifically under 2.5.6D and 2.39 under land use. And then we updated some point of contacts under the public safety section as well.
Could I just ask if we could get a copy of this all bound up with all the right stuff?
Yes, and this will be posted on our website tomorrow with all the updated information as well. But yes,
okay,
we can definitely do that. So just a quick background on the strategic plan. If for those who are not familiar with the strategic plan or were not part of the workshop, the City of Menifee's first strategic plan took effect in 2012, and the community principles in it still resonate today. The 5-year strategic plan builds upon our past strategic plan foundation while updating it for the future. Additionally, this was accomplished through a collaborative effort whereby the City Council and staff were engaged through several meetings. So the purpose of the vision is to define goals and objectives that align with the city's business goals. Additionally, to improve the balance between demand for more and better technology and available city resources, including staff and capital and operating funds. And this 5-year strategic plan provides a roadmap that will help the city close the gap between current and future needs. I do want to note that this is a live document as these tasks are updated as staff completes the actions noted in the plan. And the goal has always been to come to bring updates to council every 6 months with a yearly workshop. And as you note on this slide, in 2023, Menifee, the vision is, and Menifee is an inclusive city of kindness with distinct, vibrant neighborhoods, a well-managed government, a safe community, flourishing arts, historic and cultural resources, recreation opportunities, a strong economy, thriving children and youth, environmental sustainability, with healthy residents of all ages, making Menifee a sought-after community to develop partnerships and invest in. So the plan development, a brief background on the plan development. In April, May 2018, a focus group was convened with representation from various levels of the organization to develop the strategic visioning plan. The group met to discuss internal and external influences affecting the city. In May 2018, after the focus group completed their review, the management team met for a strategic visioning and implementation retreat. And in July 2018, there was a public workshop, and the plan was adopted by the city council at that time. Again, there are 4 foundational goals that were adopted as part of this plan. The first is safe and attractive community. The second is livable and economically prosperous community. The third is responsive and transparent government. And the fourth is accessible and interconnected community. There are also 6 areas of strategic priorities that encompass the 4 foundational goals, also referred to in the past as goal areas or goals. But to differentiate the foundational goals versus these goal areas, we redefine this area. We redefine these as areas of strategic priority. So the 6 areas of strategic priority are public safety, land use, city hall, infrastructure, community outreach, and workforce and facilities management. And under those categories, you can see which foundational goal each encompasses. As far as council updates, since the plan was adopted, staff did provide updates to council in May 7th, 2019. Also in December 2019, we held a workshop last year in March. We also provided an update to council in January of this year and also held a workshop on March 15th of this year as well. As part of that workshop, council added 26 actions or tasks and revised 2 tasks, which we will get to. So under the public safety items, these are the tasks that were added during the workshop. So under aesthetics of the city, we added a program element to the illegal dumping enforcement task. Additionally, under the police department formation, we added a first year update to include the code enforcement transition and also how the homeless program is going. And we also added the Menifee PD first anniversary event. Additionally, under the fire services citywide needs assessment, we do have the fire ladder truck added there as well as the second paramedic unit in the city. And under we also added as part of that workshop the homeless program, and the task that was added was to create a homeless program plan. And under future police department needs, which was also added, the 3 tasks that were included under that task or that objective is to evaluate crime-fighting technology systems, evaluate need for commercial inspection programs. This is regarding the truck routes and police department substations. And so those were the items that were added under public safety. And before I move on to land use, does council have any questions or revisions?
I think you're good to go.
Okay. So next, under land use, there was 1 task that was revised and 4 that was added. So under the Parks and Trails Enhanced Standards of Park System, we did revise the status for the open space nature preserve conservation effort. We changed that from a completed status to ongoing. Additionally, we added task 2.3.7, which is to update the parks, trails, open space, and recreation master plan, and also added to explore unique recreation amenities as parks are developed, and evaluate possibility for parking area at the Salt Creek Trail. Also under land use, under the economic development plan objective, we added explore opportunities for temporary use of city-owned property on Cherry Hills and Bradley. And I have that highlighted in red because staff just wanted clarification. Going back, we just wanted to make sure there was a consensus on this item.
Okay, council members, do we all feel like we should be using that property in some temporary way? I think the idea was to have no, all right, and let me just finish with that. The idea was to have, instead of it putting a fence around it and growing weeds, we would actually use it for things like pop-up food kind of event, maybe a farmer's market or some kind of an event that simple, gravel, some containers or whatever, that once we're ready to do something with that property, it's not a big expense to have to take down because we didn't really invest much in it other than some gravel and some areas. But the idea was we bought some property. Why wouldn't we want to do something with it temporarily to put some energy into that Sun City core area that might need a little jump start? So that was the idea. But maybe we just go down the line because we might have difference of opinion here. If you prefer weeds and a fence, say that. And if you think it should be something that's exciting and interesting that the people are going to like, then say that.
Well, if you put it like that.
Or whatever you want to say. Councilman Dynas, why don't you start?
Given the fact that I don't think this is going to be used for a length of time as we decide what to do with it, I think it'd be worth the time to at least explore some options before we just either, open the floodgates and, hey, let's do it, or slam it shut. I kind of like to see what things that can be done, one that will enhance the city, especially that area, but not compete against some of the businesses there. That would be my only concern. But I think we got bright enough staff that could come back with some kind of options that we can look at and decide then whether it's worthwhile or not.
Very, very good point. And I certainly wouldn't want us to just do something without thinking about it. Of course we'd think about it. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I remember when you mentioned this before, and I appreciate your heart, Mayor. As Councilmember Dynas said, I would be concerned of the competition with the businesses that are already having a difficult time in the Cherry Hills Plaza. If we wanted to do a farmer's market, I think it's a perfect opportunity to partner to bring business and attraction to a current shopping center that's already there and may need attention and people coming to support that. Sometimes we think it's easy to put down some gravel, but I just remember the old city hall that they had to get rid of the gravel because it could become a hazard, a tripping hazard, and it could become a liability. So I know it's a piece of property that we bought. I definitely don't want to see weeds there. And I know it's an investment. So I think that we have so much work that needs to be done. I think it's more of a want. We have roads that need resurface. We have infrastructure projects. And there's priorities that I think I would rather have staff put their energy into this year. And so that would be my thoughts.
Okay, Councilman Carwin.
Yeah, I'm torn. I don't want to put something in there that we'd have to take back out. So obviously, a structural improvement would be difficult. You know what what I would love to put there is an interim use, a dog park. There's a lot of seniors in the area who have dogs. If we could maybe mark off an area that would be suitable for parking for both golf carts and vehicles, And again, this could be wood chips, something that would biodegrade into the ground or could be moved away very easily. I know that Aldergate Park on the other side. We have on this side of the freeway Peterson Dog Park, but it's really kind of for larger dogs, small and kind of unwieldy for that kind of that, and it's very far removed from the core. So the seniors have a difficult time getting down there with their dogs and that kind of thing. So I think that would accomplish not competing with local businesses. I also know that the Sun City Civic Association is trying to build interest for a farmer's market and use of their property for exactly that purpose. And I would hate to compete with them for that to develop. That'd be like on the other side. So I think that would be a perfect use for it because it wouldn't require much structure other than maybe putting up some dog bag stations and some a water feed maybe. That's what I'd like to see over there.
Okay.
And just a fence.
Yeah, I'm really torn too. I mean, you bring up a good idea. There's a lot of good opportunities out there. Bob's idea of the dog park is worth merit. I mean, there's tons of things we could do. Lisa brought up some good concerns about, if we did do a farmer's market. I mean, the appeal of a farmer's market is that in the Cheerios Plaza is that it creates some synergy around the businesses, potentially. I think I'm interested to hear some ideas from staff if there's some potential. Maybe an area for just little intermittent festivals, like a little food truck festival or something like that. There's a lot of opportunities there. We need to give some attention to our Sun City core. Some opportunities to revitalize the area a little bit. I mean, that's initially what the investment was a part of, is trying to get some things going out there. And I think this is a good opportunity to maybe test the waters. So I think I'd like to hear back from staff if there's some other ideas out there.
Yeah. Awesome. And that was really what I was saying. I wasn't specifically saying we are going to have 9 lights. No, wait, 11 lights. We're getting into specifics. I'm just saying, let's use it or put a fence around it. I'd rather have us use it, whatever it is. I love your dog park idea. That's great. So I think that was the idea.
Sounds good.
So do we have consensus then that we want to try to use it in some way that benefits the community as opposed to doing nothing and being very boring? Okay.
Sounds good. Staff will return with options.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. I think that was any other questions under land use?
Land use, yes. Sorry.
That's okay.
Maybe you glazed over it, but the whole sphere of influence annexation section, the first part, it all says TBD, and to my knowledge, yes. TBD means we've done nothing.
Yeah, and I don't know if Cheryl is available or planning staff. Yes, I can definitely get an update from our community development director and get back to you on that status and where that's at.
That would probably be appropriate.
And I think we have Orlando actually.
Unless he wants to take a crack at it. There's some history.
Good evening, council members. My name is Orlando Hernandez. I don't have the entire history. I know that the Jonathan was telling me about some of the information, so I'll let him speak about it.
Yeah, if I may, I know LAFCO is going under a maintenance service review for a lot of the cities in Riverside County right now, and we actually had a meeting with them. The consultant that LAFCO hired to do the maintenance service review specifically for the city of Menifee back in February. So that's underway right now.
So the municipal services study okay.
Yeah. So, and we can include that update in the document that's underway.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, any other questions under land use?
No.
Okay, and moving on, under infrastructure, under the Southern Gateway area, we did add an infrastructure assessment, and we also added to explore a specific plan for economic development Southern Gateway, as well as outreach and workshop with Southern Gateway owners. And I have those two in red. Again, staff just wanted clarification. We weren't sure if there was consensus on 4.8.4 and 4.8.5.
Okay, let's canvass the council. Is everybody okay with the idea of exploring a kind of like a business incentive district overlay for the Southern Gateway area to encourage the right type of businesses that we've been hopeful would happen there? I think that was the idea. Everybody's for that. I think you got 5 yeses.
Okay. And under Smart Cities for Infrastructure, we did add the citywide broadband. We added the streetlights objective to the evaluation of streetlights in rural areas, and also added the Scott Road, Bundy Canyon Road widening objective with the noted tasks below. Are there any other questions under infrastructure before I move on?
Not really a question, just a statement, and hoping that Nick hears it. I had conversations with Edison that they were going to give us for free. They were going to attach mast arms to power poles and give us some street lights. So there's an opportunity there that we can probably work out
In the rural areas.
in the rural areas.
Thank you. Okay, and then under community outreach, council added to create informational interactive maps. That was the only item that was added under community outreach. Are there any questions or revisions? Okay. And then under the last section, under workforce and facilities management, we did, council added the IT assessment under the update technology area. Any questions? Nope. Okay, so moving forward, so with all this graph just shows all the total tasks, including the tasks that were added during the workshop, and all the completed items per each area of strategic priority. Approximately half of the tasks have been completed to date, and that includes the newly added tasks. Additional updates were, as I mentioned before, we updated the goal column to say area of strategic priority, and also updated the point of contacts to departments versus individual staff names. And then we also updated the whole look of the plan document. We wanted to make it more up to date, a little bit more modern, and have it align with our budget book and other documents that the city has. I just wanted to show a few of the pages. And I wanted to thank real quick our PIO, Dominique Samario, and our intern, Molly Kortzen, and also our executive assistant, Mandy Stevenson, who helped a great deal with updating the look of the plan as well. So here you can see the new look. It has the table of context. You can see the introduction, the executive summary, the Menifee's vision has all been updated. As well as our community values area with new pictures, a whole new feel to it. More of our community values, our staff values, and updated information under the Menifee growth section with current data. And of course, we have our page dedicated to each of our 4 foundational goals. And when you read these pages, you can see the key objectives under each foundational goal, as well as action items through this calendar year, and any supporting documents and plans that are related to these goals. More on the goals. And then, as we talked about earlier, this is just part of our goals and objectives implementation plans. And so at the end of the document, you'll see the spreadsheet that has all the objectives, all the point of contacts, the actions that are required, the status, and estimated completion dates, or if they are completed to date. I did want to note that, as Armando mentioned earlier, we also are working with OpenGov, and I gave a brief preview at the workshop that this plan will be on OpenGov as part of a public dashboard and interactive. Our finance staff is also working on implementing the budget book in OpenGov as part of an interactive public dashboard as well. So Marguerite and I will be returning to council next month to do a presentation on both of those items and show you the new online strategic plan and budget book. And with that, I just wanted to end with our team philosophy, which is we are building a safe, thriving, and premier place to be. And I am happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Ms. Huerta, thank you. Great presentation. I'm sure the rest of the council is going to say the same thing, but it looks very nice, and you did a very good job. So please pass that on to the whole team. I know there was a team effort. And so.
Yes, thank you very much. I will definitely, and as mentioned earlier to Councilmember Leesmeyer, we will have all the updated information online on our website tomorrow, and it'll be printable for the public.
Great.
Okay. This is something that we do need to request. Any public comments, Madam Clerk, on this item from the public?
No request to speak.
All right. And council members, any other comments, discussions, questions?
No, great job.
Okay, so
everybody.
thank you.
Dominique.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Sobek.
Yes, so I've noticed this picture here with the split road. Is this a picture in our community?
Yes.
In a development, where is this?
If Dominique's available, I'm not sure.
You better hope
Is it
it's
me?
not in your district.
But all the pictures that were
Oh, this is over by no, this is not the Stater Brothers.
The lakes?
No, is it going into the lakes?
Yep.
Okay,
but yeah.
That's in District 3.
okay.
But yes, all
Mayor. But is it in the lakes neighborhood? So we don't ever get to see it? Okay.
It is, yes. Dominique says yes.
I never get to see this. Anyway, it's a beautiful picture.
Yes,
So-
yes. All the pictures that we utilize are in the city of Menifee.
We need to highlight that one more often. It's really beautiful. Hey, you guys are giving me a hard time. I don't go into that neighborhood.
No, yeah, sorry.
Armando.
So anyway, I just wanted to thank you.
Commending our staff on using stock photos of Temecula.
But thank you for this. I think
Of
it's
course.
going to be a great document to be able to share with the community. I like how we're being transparent more and more, and it's available for interactive online. Great job.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Armando.
But thank you, Mayor and council members. I just want to add the hard work that Imelda and staff put together to make sure that this is a really good document for everybody to see. And as you noticed, and I appreciate the council's desire to make sure that they set their collective desire so that we can have direction. We take this document and we create action plans. Every department, as you saw on the budget, besides doing the busy work that they do to deal with providing services, they use this document to be more proactive and create things in programs. So this is, I feel very proud to have this document because this document really ties not only our city budget and our objectives in there, but it ties it to the strategic plan and is very helpful for us to be able to keep moving on. So thank you for that.
All right, so council members, the motion would be to approve the updated city council strategic visioning plan with the noted revisions. Anyone like to move?
So move.
Second?
That passes unanimously. We're now on city attorney reports, item 13. Mr. Melching, anything for us?
Not tonight, Mayor.
Okay, and item 14, city manager reports. Mr. Villa, anything?
I think I spoke enough.
All right, thank you. Item 15, future agenda requests from council members. Any future items requested? Hearing none, we are adjourned. It's 8:10, and thank you, everybody, for being here this evening. Good meeting.
And I'll say congratulations to the IT department. We had a flawless meeting.
Everything went well.
First time in the building.